Thank you for joining us. On behalf of the Ketchikan Indian Community Social Service Department, we acknowledge we are on the traditional land of the people of Sanya Kwan and Tanta Kwan. And now I'd like to introduce you to Gloria Burns, Ketchikan Indian Community President.
Hadalasis, Glinkings Eshti Gudimilagan, Dolores Churchill Dinon Ul Ejang, Holly Churchill Di Owl Ul Ejang, Ils Kilestan Hinudi Kaang. Good people, I'm just here, pleased to be with you, even in this virtual setting, really to spend some time to really give deep thought and honor to the lives of some amazing women from our own community who have passed under tragic circumstances, and really to spend some time to shine a light on this epidemic that Indian country is facing. I told you I was happy to be amongst you. I, of course, told you my Haida name is Ils Hilestung, which was given to me by Nani Selena, and it means the best kind of luck or medicine. Only my auntie has the same name, so mine is Stung. It means I'm the second one, so that people can distinguish us in acts. On behalf of our community, I just want to say that we have both men and women who have gone missing in our area and have had no justice. And so I think that this conversation is timely and it's important. I was asked by the department to speak a little bit about my experience in advocacy and why this is so important. I think that if you're on this line, you know why it's important. You're either a survivor, or you have a loved one, perhaps, that you've lost due to violence, or you have a family member or a friend who's gone, and you have you're left with unresolved feelings. So if you're here, I don't know that we necessarily have to say about how important it is, because you know it's important. I'd say I wasn't always aware. I mean, I was aware from a little girl about how scary the world was to be an Indigenous woman. When I was a little girl, my grandmother, she would point right across the road if she knew somebody was unkind to women, and she would point at them and she'd say, "You stay away from that person." And she'd tell me, even as a very little girl, some really scary facts. And I always knew that you couldn't walk through City Park, that I should never be in City Park. I knew that there were a couple of things I could get in real trouble for. So I might as well not come back if I ever went on to Schoenbar Trail. I knew that I was never supposed to be there. I knew I couldn't be in City Park because it was dangerous. And I knew that I didn't want to have those conversations with my grandmother and my mother, or anybody in my family, if I was ever caught in those locations. So Janalee and I, who is my cousin, we started talking, gosh, in December, I guess it was December, in January, just about some of these amazing women that we both had known in our lives, and about all the men that were missing, and that it just seemed that there was no justice. And so we really started having a serious conversation about what do we do, just by ourselves, not involved in any particular organization, especially because there's so many people who are just without justice right now. I could say all their names: Tina Grant, Judy Lee, Shelley Hudson, Angeline Dundas, Gloria Green. She got justice, but it's a horrific memory that Janalee has. And so just knowing that there are all these women out there, and people know what happened to them. There are people in our community that know what happened to them, and still they have no justice. And so It was much more not about bringing attention for us. It's much more to me, not about bringing attention to a national issue. I mean, it's a terrible, horrific national issue, but we have family members and loved ones in our community that are gone, and we still have no justice for them. And so, so we just decided, let's do the red dress project. Let's hang some dresses. Let's see what that feels like, and let's start having conversations with other people we knew were already having the conversations, like KIC. You guys are 100%, and you've had what, the longest running, or we, I should say, because I'm the president, we have the longest running domestic violence program through the Department of Justice, I think, in the state, right? So we have been in this fight, and Women in Safe Homes is a grassroots effort that is a staple in our community. They have done amazing things, but how do we get everybody else to start talking about it? And are we having the enough serious conversations with our little people about what it looks like, what trafficking can look like in a community like Ketchikan? And I think the answer is no. I don't think that we are having those conversations to the degree that I feel safe when I look at my nieces and my nephew. And so when they asked me to be a keynote speaker, I thought it was canceled, so I didn't write a speech. So now I'm going to stop. Thank you all for being here. Walk through the park. Send a prayer out to each and every one of these lovely ladies. And don't forget our men. We have a lot of men that are missing. I hope that we all think of ways to write letters and advocate for a change in the justice system. Our people have been invisible for way too long. And we have a lot of families that are left with grief that is unresolved. And so I think it's profoundly important that we have these conversations and that we hold each other up. So I'm sorry for my real bum. I'm not supposed to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I wasn't more prepared, but I appreciate being in this space with all of you.
Gloria, beautiful words. Welcome everyone to our virtual Missing and Murdered Indigenous Persons event. This virtual event is a call to remember lost loved ones. Hello, I am Sonia Clippert. My native name is Kaikaksh, and my mother is Lila Yoltatsi. Simshin, Raven, House of the Frog. My father is Conrad Clippert, Danebro, brother from Denmark. My grandfather is Jones Yoltatsi, double-vig killer whale from Alcan. Today, as a community, we are thinking about all our loved ones who are missing and have been taken away from us. Our hope is the reach that the Zoom recording goes to Metlakatla, goes to Prince of Wales and Saxman, and everywhere in the world where families need healing, love, and light through our coming together. Tonight, we are honoring our MMIP through a candlelight vigil and a moment of silence. It is not my intention to give incorrect information, and if I do during this virtual event, please forgive me. Our mission is to create awareness of the crimes wrongly done on our loved ones, allow space for healing, and create connection to our community of resources to help crime victims and create community connection through lifting up those families and friends of MMIP. May 5th is the National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Persons. Today we wear red to help stop the violence against Native women and persons and to bring awareness to this event. American Indian women face murder rates that are more than 10 times the national average. Homicide is the third leading cause of death for 10 to 24 years of age, and the fifth leading cause of death for American Indian and Native Alaskan women between 25 and 34 years of age. As of February 2021, there are 229 cases in Alaska, 149 missing, 80 murdered. Due to the advocacy of our sisters and brothers, legislation is becoming a priority. VAWA Act must be advocated for, and last year, 2 acts were signed by the president, the Savannahs Act and Not Invisible Act, to help our MMIP. Locally, Ketchikan Indian Community was awarded an Office of Crime Victims grant, which is now allowing us to assist, advocate for all victims of crime of all populations in Metlakatla, Prince of Wales, Saxman, and Ketchikan. Alaskan people have seen too much of this, and now is the time to join MMIP efforts and keep awareness. In solidarity, we are thinking of our sisters and brothers who have gone missing and murdered. We will never forget you. Ganochish Hawa Deutschken. And now for speaker Jana Lee Gage.
Jana Lee, you have the floor.
So I have the floor, okay. I got people coming through and walking and saying hi, so. So I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Jana Lee, Forrest, Hunt, Talbot, Narcomo, Minnick, Church, Gage. And I just did that kind of backward, but, and I think I can follow up on behind Gloria with her sentiment. And we've been talking about this for several months. And I think one of the things that one of the lessons I've learned in my lifetime is that we tend to think that we're not to talk about certain things, and we don't, those things are horrible, but we just shove them under our little rug so that they go away. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. It eats up the insides of us, and we need to be able to speak to those things. And when I moved up to Kotzebue in 2003, and I had to start having those conversations with my own kids because the corporation there had to put out warnings about kids being enticed out of the villages for, I don't know, better life. And it was the sex trafficking had already begun, and the village corporations, IRAs, and everything were talking about it, but our own state was not talking about it. Our own government was not talking about it until about 4 years later. And so to me, it became a constant earnest, having a conversation with my own kids, a conversation I didn't want to have, and the fear of, something happening to them. And with the numbers as they are, 1 in 3 women go missing or are murdered, and 1 in 3 women in the world are experience rape or domestic violence. And so, working in the areas that I've worked in over the years, and also being a foster parent, it's a conversation and a reality I've had to come to grips with and realize my own trauma. And what I found is that by speaking to it and releasing it, it gave me a little more peace. It doesn't ever go away, but it it definitely feels more like I've freed myself from that dark piece that I really don't want anyone else to have to live through. I think also when we talk about, every one of us has that memory of that person, the last time we saw them, the last time we had a conversation with them, the last time we drank a milkshake with them, or their favorite food. Those memories never go away, and to have to suppress that is more damaging than it is good. And so for me, this project is really illuminated. I've been here every day since we put it up, and it's yeah, it's very intense, and to watch different people come through and read the different statistics and the information is it's humbling. I love it. I'm not seeing the same people every day. I'm seeing different people, and I'm humbled that people are happy, or at least contributing and participating in the conversation, and with their kids. I don't know what else to say. I kind of, my statistics are all over the park, and I really can't walk today to go read them all. And but they are also up on the site. I think just having this conversation and collecting people's names and developing our own database and really looking into who is missing, who we don't even know about, is what we need to do next. That's our next step, is those people that we started seeing people pop up on Facebook, other women, pictures, names, and even young men, and definitely start getting these lists and writing our legislator and saying it's time to change. Change has to come. Can't keep doing this. I'm gonna cry now. So I'm gonna stop.
Thank you. Beautiful words. Jenny, we appreciate your advocacy and all your hard work to get word out, including the Red Dress Project that you had. We appreciate your work, and it's very, very appreciated. So now if we have any other speakers, perhaps, or
Could I just say, before we move on, I really think we need to recognize that Naomi is here in the room. My first job working in the shelter at Women in Safe Homes was under her leadership. She had such a passion for watching for our women. And I think that we do ourselves a disservice if we don't create some space right here to acknowledge the kind of profound work that she did when she was in the position of being in charge of WISH and allowing for that moment. And even though she's not prepared to speak, but if she would share some words, I think I would be honored. I think she would add to this discussion tremendously because of her lifetime of service before she moved on to medicine and happier things.
Oh, Gunnakshish, how Deutschen. Oh, just honored to be here, really, and so thankful that for the continuation of this work. So honored, and I think of it's just wonderful to see all of the work that you've all done, and also realizing the work that still needs to get done, and really together. And so it's really wonderful to see that the programs are still strong, and unfortunately, the rates aren't, things are still the same, but what has changed has been a lot. We've had, since I've left my position at WISH, I haven't left the community, and there's been a ton of really great work and awareness, starting with the Mmiw. That happened, and the Mmiw movement, the murdered and missing, and just all of the things that we've been forced to kind of wake up to. And so it's really wonderful to see all of you here. And I just was, I'm so glad that you had this event tonight, and especially virtually. And I'd like to also, yeah, and Gloria's right. She was a big part of the, and Sonia Scan as well was on the board at WISH, and many of you were, I think Jenna Lee, Haley, all of you actually have been part of all this work. And it's just not really work, it's really our lives. And being Indigenous is, we're so blessed. And at the same time, we have to keep working, I think, to find ways to work together and put aside a lot of our differences that we may have. And this is a really wonderful example of that right now. So thank you for acknowledging me. And I really want to turn it back and acknowledge all of you. And also the people here of this area, the Sanya Kwan and Tantaquan people. So, and lastly, my nephew is one of the murdered and missing Indigenous men. And so they have never really found his body, and my heart hurts for everyone, and all the families, and really for all of us. And so anyway, Ixikhan, love you all. Thank you so much. Gunakshish.
Sonia Clipper. We have Terry online, then we have Rob who wanted to speak. So if you want to go ahead and take a hold of being moderator, Riley, can you look at your messages so that we can organize internally in the background?
Okay, is Terry here?
Yeah, I'm here. Knew you go.
Hello, Terry. Welcome. We're so glad that you could be here with us, and we'll give you the floor.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for attending tonight. It would have been wonderful if we could all be together to honor the murdered and missing men, women, children, and LGBTQ plus community. When I think about the murdered and missing people of Ketchikan, what I always go to think about is where they came from. And in our respective traditional ways, we know that all of these people, they have come from high-ranking, honorable tribes and clans way back for thousands of years. Every single one of the people that we have been able to document so far are to be honored in their memory and spirit. In our traditional way, we keep a clear division between the living and who has passed on, and we don't mix those worlds. But things are unresolved, just like Gloria was saying, that there isn't, we don't have our answers. And so we're not able to finish mourning and to finish showing our respect and paying our respects to these family members, to these loved ones of ours. And so it's really important that all of us honor the memory of every individual that has passed on, that that has come up missing. And I also want to just state again that our people have been looking out over the land and everything on it for over 10,000 years in this region. And this region has been well taken care of, and the people have been looked after. And it is in recent history that there is such an imbalance in the way people are cared for in our community. And that we do need to think about how we're going to improve that situation and make this region and our town and Metlakatla and all of the outlying villages a safer place for women, children, and men, and people everywhere, that this is how it's supposed to be, and this is part of our heritage. And so it's very important that we do this, that we can't continue to live this way. We know the names of these people, and none of them has been forgettable. And like Gloria and Jana Lee were saying, their memories, their faces still live in our memories. And we need to do better. So this is a very heavy subject topic for everybody to come and be prepared to talk about tonight. But I really honor all of you. I love all of you. I know that you guys all have very strong hearts and will stand up for everybody and anybody. I know that about all of you. So I feel blessed to be included in some of the planning and some of the thinking. And I've been fortunate enough to have received some training from elders and family over the years about tending to the care of people's spirits, and also ensuring that the agreement of having peace be a decision that a group can make and a group can live with and grab onto. So I feel like what I would like to add for everybody, because I know that we all have family and friends who have been murdered or are among the missing still. Some of us are fortunate and that there has been some resolution over time. Something that's important to remember is that some people have went missing that are still in the memories that went missing in the 1960s and the 1970s, not in these last 10 years. This goes way far back. But I've been impressed with talking with some of my friends and my family that how deeply the memory is still in the heart of people. I was talking with my sister who talked about her friend who disappeared off of a ferry boat. And the way she talks is so strong, almost that she demands to know the answer right now as if it happened yesterday. And this was way like 1973. So if she feels that powerful and that strong, I know that people who have missing family members and murdered family members recently feel all the more disturbed and unsettled. And so I feel like the thing that I could do to lend to this discussion in this meeting is I would like to share a prayer, if that would be okay.
We would be honored for you to share.
Okay. I want you to know what you're involved in when you hear it. So I'm going to give you the English translation before I give the prayer. Okay, so we're asking our Creator to come and help us people who are among the living, that we're going to need the Creator's help. We need more help than any one of us as an individual can muster. And that to please look after our women and children and our men. And that we're asking the Creator, we're not asking our Creator to do the work for us, only stand by our side and we'll get the work done ourselves. Yes. So we know we can do it if we work together. And that just reminding that the Creator made this world and has given us this life, and that this is a true fact. Okay. Shmoiget gatsim lahaga, haboldem at a hatli mort gum tahachni ged. Delamort gun hashaga tim lahaga. Aradam hagol the boredom. Aradam gilks gonna hike in the gum. Yagwa dipshi a slamom the gedum. At a slamom tahachni ged the gitscan at a tegwan at a slowak at a Heidelberg at a Craig. Nagwini it's tahachni ged. Hashacham hail the tahachni ged. Tim getscan at a hashacham du hadacham the guat. At a zebam we hoishkam hatli zogami. A will noon zeba we hoishkin hatli zogami. At a will noon int ginam will hoishkam duldulsham. Nila walt. Oh, I am.
Doishkin Alada. Beautiful words to put in the air. And now I call on Rob Sanders. He is Vice President of Tlingit and Haida. You may have the floor, Rob.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank KIC for hosting this event last night. Jen and I went through the park last night. It was pretty somber. I have lost a couple of friends in the 70s that never came home. And, you know, that they're still, you know, we have no idea where they're at. And, you know, nothing's going to change unless we all get in the same boat. What I mean by that is we can't just localize missing and murdered Indigenous women. We need to take this full scale all the way through the state to the governor, our state legislators, our 3 representatives in Washington, D.C. VAWA enacted 1994, I believe. It's been up for reauthorization 5-6 times, and every time that happens, we're always on the short end of the stick. And this is really not my game, but I do attend meetings when I'm in DC at NCAI to try to get as much education as I can on this act. And it's a crime just for this act not to be permanent law. You know, it really is. We should not have to have such a serious topic always coming up for reauthorization. It should be permanent law. And every time it's up for reauthorization, the funding changes, all the dynamics change in there, and we're right back at square one again. So, you know, and, you know, there's a lot of things that we can do. What that is, I don't know, but, you know, getting together and, you know, addressing our very serious concerns with Murkowski, Sullivan, and Young would be a very damn good start. About 7 years ago at NCA, I'm up at AFN, I stood on the floor there and called out to the crowd that, you know, about protecting the family name. To hell with the family name, you know? What we need to do is to call out the predators that reside in the family. We know who they are. You know, the crowd fell silent. after I said that. Get the hell rid of them, you know, get them out of town, get them help, do something, throw their ass in jail. You know, I speak it from the heart, you know, you can't, this is a law that really needs to be in place, stamped for good. It's always up for reauthorization. I don't even know if it's been acted on again. You know, every time it's reauthorized or getting ready to be reauthorized, we're in Washington, D.C. So, yeah, you know, today, a beautiful young lady, 27 years old, they found her at a base of a cliff in Anchorage today, killed. And she was one of the people that was actually out there fighting to protect their women and children, and also into working with leadership in VAWA. And happens that they happen to find her body on the day that this is happening. So, you know, we got a lot of work to do. And a lot of it falls on leadership, but it goes far beyond leadership. It's going to take every one of us, the whole damn community, wherever we live. It's time to start pressuring the lawmakers. We can't continue to live like this and hope for the best because they want to put it up for reauthorization every 5-6 years, whatever it may be. So we'll continue to work on it. We've got a good crew here at KIC in Clinton, Haida, and throughout the state. We just need to put pressure on to make this a permanent law. How that happens, I don't know, but it needs to happen. Thank you.
Rob, good words, good warrior words, and important. We can all do our part to advocate for laws to help our MMIP in every way that we possibly are able to. Now, what we're going to do is take a moment of silence to honor our missing and murdered Indigenous people, the ones that we love. And so if we can all have a moment of silence. Thank you for participating in this virtual event. This is a time that we need to continue to honor our lost loved ones. We encourage you to light a candle tonight in honor of this event. And thank you for attending. Thank you for wearing your red. We will never forget our loved ones.
As you're closing, I'd like to offer a song. We're asking Creator for strength. We're asking Creator for guidance. Exican. Exican, I love you. Uhea, hey, ia, ha. Uhea, hey, ia, ha. Uhea, hey, ia, ha. Huea, he, ia, ha. Dikian kau hande. Shaquan huen ia, ha. Ganea, he, ia, ha. Huea, he, ia, ha. Hoo. We lost a brother. We lost a brother in the 60s. I want to share a short story with you. It's about a young lady. It's about the beginning of time. The elders were trying to put the tree people up on the rock in the mountain. And they were meeting like we're meeting now. Your clan leaders are there and your elders were there. This grandma was right next to the clan leaders. And they're talking about how they're going to plant the tree up in the mountain. A little girl started pulling on her grandma's robe. Grandma, I got an answer. Grandma would jerk her away. Go away, go away. They put the first tree up on the mountain and it grabbed on the Mother Earth and the wind brought it down. So they came back down to the fire again. And they start discussing how they're going to plant these trees up on the mountain. The little girl wouldn't give up. She would not give up. She pulled on her grandma's robe. Grandma, I got an answer, Grandma. Grandma jerked her away. 3 trees went up on the mountain. They planted themselves on the rock. The wind and the rain and the snow brought them down. So they came back down to the fire. And they start discussing it more. Little girl would not give up. She would not give up. She's pulling on her grandma's robe. Grandma, I got an answer. Grandma finally gave in. She said, I'm going to let my granddaughter speak for me. The little girl got up in the circle where the fire was, and she was talking to the clan leaders and elders. This is what she said. Let's all go up on the mountain with the tree people. Let the whole village go up with them, with the tree people. And let's all hold hands till they can firmly grab Mother Earth. You're all holding hands so we can firmly get a grip on this problem. We're holding hands so we can do that. Goodness Chief, thank you very much.
Goodness, Cheesh Willard. Sonia, is there anything else that is on the agenda for tonight?
We're ending with the candlelight, and if people can just go home and light a candle in honor of the MMIP that we love, we would be honored. Goodness
Cheesh. Well, thank you all for attending.
Hostings Kingston, the man against King.
Cheesh. There'll be a couple of us who stay back if there's anybody who wants to chat a little bit more.
I just wanted to say, Ganesh Chief, I know I'm not in the community at this time right now, but the work that you guys do is so special and close to my heart. I just wanted to, I'm terribly sorry to hear about the outbreak of COVID, but I was happy that I was able to attend via Zoom. So, Ganesh Chief.
Yes, thank you, Haley. See you later, Naomi. Thank you.
Thank you all. Good night.
Good night. Will?
Sorry, just and thanks for all the work that you are all doing with around this topic. It is a hard topic. I know we all have close personal ties to the. Ooh, sorry, this is hard. Perhaps down here in Seattle, spent the day on the phone with all my aunties, and they're all. It's just hard to not be able to go home when these types of things are happening, and just be there with them. But thank you all for what you're doing and for keeping all the memories going.
Thank you, Will. Thank you for signing on.